Inglis, thanks for coming on the pod, man. What's going on in Western Australia?
Yeah, thanks for having me, mate. Don't do too many of these, so it's probably why I was a bit green at setting it up. But no,
Eliminator race wings are Australian manufactured with recessed rivets for extra strength.
Manufactured with 6061 T6 aluminium for lightweight and strength. Sprint car top wings, dished and flat, along with front wings.
They also have Formula 500 wings now available.
Eliminator race wings available Australia-wide.
BHR Fabrications in Brisbane, Par Motorsports in Melbourne, 16 Industries in Sydney, Sprint Car Parts Australia in Perth, and Peter Radford in Tasmania. I was going to say you're a bit green with this stuff because I remember the Australian title like 2 years ago at Warrnambool. You were like prelim night with Diamond Bay, pole sitter or point scorer. And I was green as with all my stuff. And I was like, oh, I don't even think I've met or talked to you. And I was like, all right, I've got to like go talk to James. Like, why not? And I swear you were hiding up near bloody where you used to do the drivers meetings and shit. Because you were like, oh shit. And then you're like, oh yeah, I guess I'll talk to you. And then when I finished, I was like, yeah, he didn't really want to talk to me, eh? Not in a bad way, but I could just feel like you were trying to maybe, because that was when fans were still walking around the pits, and obviously they might have been around your car, and you know a bit of that.
yeah,
Oh, I just want to get away from that for a little bit. So, yeah, man.
yeah, it's obviously really cool to do things like this, but it's just yeah, it's different when you're sort of not used to it and you're not a big talker. It's a bit different. So
Yeah, for sure. And it's like social media and this type of stuff you've always wanted to do, and you don't know how, or you literally have just gone, oh, it's a bit too hard. It's not for me. I just want to focus on my racing.
um, I guess in Perth they've done a really good job of over the last few years, especially trying to teach us and how to talk and with the media. And now, like Channel 7's coming on board, and they have been on board for a few years now. So they're trying to get that professionalism, I guess, up to the next level. So it's been really cool. They've been doing like really hard work the last few years, and we're spending like full days learning how to speak, and I'm probably no better than what I was, but at least
Yeah.
they give you a few tips and yeah, that sort of thing.
Is it simple stuff like you might be asked the same generic question and you're not in the mood, but you have a nice simple answer to sort of get them on their way if you need to not talk to them in a way?
Yeah, I don't know. It depends who's interviewing you. Like yourself, you're easy to talk to, but then you get that interviewer that's a bit awkward, and you're just like, oh, I don't know what to say. I'll just try and wrap this up, and I'll just yeah, it gets a bit awkward. But
Yeah.
yeah, like when you've got a good interviewer, it's asking you good questions, and it just sort of happens naturally, which is probably the best thing about it.
Well, I say it's too, like you said, the interview side of things, right? So there's people that I get on the podcast. Okay, you, for example, you're a type of person that you get asked a question, you give a ripper answer, but then you wait for another question, or it's not like you just continue on, which is fine, yeah. But if you got an interviewer who isn't ready for that type of
Yeah.
situation, then you're both going, yeah, well, I'm supposed to ask you something else. What is it? And then it makes you just go, come on, bro. Like, what are you doing? But then you're like, can we wrap this up? Something
Yeah,
like
like
that.
yeah, 100%. And there was a funny example was when we actually won the championship, and I went up and I had this full on sort of speech ready, and then I went up on stage and I was like, asked me one question and I answered it, and I thought he was going to keep asking me questions, and it just ended, and he's like, all right, see you later, and I'm like,
I'm ready to
oh,
like
hang on.
thank everyone.
Yeah, to thank everyone. And then I was like, oh, and I just like to, yeah. And then I started my speech, but it started off like, oh yeah, I'll ask you questions. And then he just like stopped, and I was like,
That's so weird.
it was funny. Like, it was weird because I'm like, I've been stressing about it days leading up to it. And I'm
Yeah,
like, I've
yeah,
got to
yeah,
make sure I thank everyone and not
yeah.
stuff it up. And then it was pretty much a big stuff up, and I just had to like just end up scrambling and just like, oh yeah, I'll just say my speech.
Yeah, but then even like you finish your great speech, but when you finish it, you're like, well, that's not how I pictured this night going, and you know.
Yeah, it's exactly like you've got it in your mind that how it's going to play out, and then it just doesn't, and then that's the joys of it, I guess. Like especially
Yes,
being
very
live,
true.
like Channel 7, like being when they do the live interview, they're like, all right, no swearing, no, you're like, this is live, we can't edit this, and it's like, oh, that's a bit of extra pressure, like.
Yeah.
So yeah, but no, it's
Yeah,
cool. Like, yeah,
that's what I was going to say. Like, if you know, you guys, I guess, at the Perth system now are expecting everything to be live. So, but I guess that first transition when people are like, please don't swear this, we're going live in 5-4, and you're like, oh, can I say anything?
yeah,
Like, especially if you're frustrated at another driver and you're just going like it's fresh hot and you're like, yeah, well, he's a effing wit and flog and now my car's effed and thanks, guys. Like, you know, you're frustrated. That's Speedway in a nutshell, but that next step, Channel 7, you got to be just like, yeah, I'm pretty disappointed.
yeah, and they only come up to you if something's happened, right? So like, if you're in a big crash or something, they're like straight up to you, and you're
Yeah.
like, they're like, all right, this is live. Just be natural, like be yourself, but don't do this, this, and this. And it's like, well, it's like, okay, I'll just, I don't know what to do here, but and then like you say, you try not to. It's just a hard balance. Like try and be yourself, but then try and be professional. Try not to swear. Try not to like put down other people or anything. Like it's pretty crazy, the old media.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Like you say, like you can do it. You can be yourself and be very frustrated without using swear words. But I feel like if you can't just sort of say how you feel towards other competitors, like that doesn't really. I mean, the drama in telly. Like if it's clearly that, let's say you've been put in the fence, like clear as day, you're going to be pissed. You're not going to. Everyone on there's not going to go, oh yeah, well yeah, I'm just disappointed. I put it in the fence. You're not going to say that. Like you're going to go, yeah, well, I got wrecked. So number whatever, thanks, mate. Like and walk
Yeah,
off. Like you're not like it's hard to say don't be yourself and all that type of stuff when it's a clear situation of I've been punted. Like
yeah, yeah, and
$60,000 gone, punted. You want me to just not be just calm about it? Like
exactly. And it's like they chase that emotion, but I'm a pretty hot-headed guy, so like when my adrenaline's running,
yeah.
like yeah, and these things obviously get your adrenaline running. When you come in, like I'm a bit of a, and I've tried to stamp it out lately, but I'm a bit of a thrower. Like I just start throwing stuff, and it's like, and people see that, and they just like they don't like it. Obviously, they're like, oh, that's such a bad look, and oh, I wouldn't be want to be his sponsor. So it's like far out. Like you've got to keep your emotions in check as well, and it's extremely hard to do. Like especially for someone like me, I'm pretty conservative and quiet, but then once you're in that race car and your adrenaline's running, it does some weird stuff to your body, and
Yeah.
you're really amped up.
Well, that's like you said. It's hard to keep your emotions. Like try keep them behind closed doors. But when you put in certain situations, like yeah, I mean back, if you got a big old hauler, you can shut the old glass doors and have a go. But when you don't have that, you're in the open the whole time. So
Yeah, yeah. I've got to. I keep thinking I'm gonna calm down, but every time you get out of that car and something goes wrong, yeah, I've got certain strategies I try and do
yeah,
now, just like go up to the front of the transporter and chill out before, and just let your frustration go by yourself. Because
yeah,
at the end of the day, there is a lot of kids around that look up to
yeah,
you, so you do have to keep your emotions in check. And there's nothing worse getting on, the old social media the next day and you've done something silly, just like out of frustration, and then you're just getting slammed like
yeah,
comments, and I'm bad for reading comments and that. So you're
yeah.
like, it's it's a hard balance, and I put my hat off to the people that they yeah, they can keep their emotions in check when when they have a big wreck and they've just torn up a $100,000 race car. It
Yeah.
does play on you for sure.
Would you say that now with how much replays you guys can get, sometimes it can be a bit easy to, instead of reacting, go, oh, I'm going to go look at this in Transporter and see what actually just happened. Because then you can be like 100% red hot and then you go, oh yeah, probably could have lifted, eh? Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and then you go from 100 to like 60 because you're like, no, it wasn't 100% that guy's fault.
Yeah, yeah, and that's and unfortunately, when you have a wreck, you're on the infield, so you don't even
You're
get the
waiting.
chance.
You
Yeah,
just,
you're waiting. You don't even get the
yeah.
chance to look at replays, so you're blowing up and doing whatever, and then
Yeah.
you get back to the transport, and you're like, oh yeah, maybe that was a bit my fault as well. But you know, it's yeah, it's the nature of the sport, unfortunately. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, it's good entertainment for the fans as well. Like you do want to keep the emotion in the sport, because if everyone just goes a bit mellow, it's I don't know, it's just not really entertaining either. So
Yeah, well, I'm going to do something a little bit different on the pod today. Instead of going back to old 5-year-old James, I want to start now and go backwards. And then back to this year, right? So, this year, mate, back in, what would you say, the 80, to use that like family car deal, what is that car you race this year compared to the Diamond Bay? What was that situation going into this season, the 80?
yeah, so the 80s. Yeah, probably don't know if I'm gonna. Yeah, you obviously know it's a bit of a number change and a bit of
Yeah, we'll get
a
to that.
rebrand.
Slow down, yeah. But the 80
But
just gone. What was that deal like
80,
for you?
yeah, it's just probably the back end of some wicked seasons, and just going back in my family deal, my own car which I work on in the shed, and it's at my old folks' place, and away from the business, but it's just in the back shed at home. Nothing fancy, just a tin shed, and we just tinker away at it. It's
Yep.
it's like you'd like to think you've got good equipment, and I think we do, but it's honestly everyone does. Everyone's on par these days.
Yep.
So we got a good couple of motors, couple of good cars, and some spares to go traveling. So yeah, we're not a huge team, and we're not a small team either. We're sort of in that mediocre sort of level. We just sort of have enough to get by and be competitive in the 410 class. But yeah, if we do start wrecking cars, like we would have to reevaluate as well.
Yeah, for sure.
And like yeah, so yeah, it's to answer your question. It was just coming off some awesome seasons with Diamond Bay. Obviously, it was just going sort of back to my grassroots a bit, and just
Yep.
trying to enjoy it again, almost like. And yeah, I guess we'll touch on that as well, but just
Mm.
trying to get my mindset back to enjoying it, having fun, and doing it well, I was initially doing it for, just to escape, have an outlet from work and the
Yeah.
business, and hang out with mates on the weekend and go racing.
Yeah, well, mate, like, I know you didn't, from your point of view, obviously winning championships to the season you had, you didn't do all the Mannix and Toyota, or did you? You didn't do every round, did you? Didn't?
Nah, so not the season just gone. Nah,
Yeah,
we
right. You didn't do
yeah.
every round, but you did as much as you can. You did a lot of perf, but you did travel east, and that's what I want to touch on right now. Touch my memory. Did you race Avalon? No,
Didn't do Avalon.
but you did Warrnambool.
Bordertown, and the Australian title at Murray Bridge. Yeah.
Now, okay, this I think I'm right. Out of all three of those shows, you're the only Western Australian driver to make all features. Did you know that?
Yeah, so
Now that's
Bordertown, we had a shocker, but the
you made the
classic,
features
and
though.
yeah. No, we were honestly we were the top WA car to finish the features as well. Like we were at the classic, we were the top WA car, the Aussie title, the same.
Yep.
Yeah, like when you look back on it, we we were rolling half decent. Like we
Yeah.
were up there. Yeah, for sure.
That's what I mean. And like, you're back to your family budget team now. I know how much it costs to get east for those shows for you guys. That is like your big trip all year. But, the year before that, you go really well at Warrnambool with the Diamond Bay car. And you go up
Yep.
there and you transfer from the B main. It was a really stacked B main, I remember that. You transfer, get it
Yep.
there. I'm not sure, like you said, maybe you transferred from Tolma as well. But then the Australian title, mate, like, these type of tracks where, again, my head keeps saying these guys are Western Australia guys, but you know, you're beating a lot of guys that are racing these tracks weekly. And yeah, it would be you, like you, Dane and Cow, and even AP. I don't think AP made them all, but he's pushing to make the shows, you know, on his bad night. So you guys still have great packages. And, you know, do you guys really connect, or, you know, when you travel east, you sort of see each other around the pits and go, oh, not bad for Western Australia guys? Is that one of those type of things?
Oh, I think we do. Like obviously, I've said it before. At the Perth Motorplex, you sort of, you know, you're battling each other pretty brutally hard,
Yeah.
and you sort of, you know, stuff happens, and then it's when you hit the road, you're like, you start connecting more with
Yeah.
your WA team, your competitors, I should say,
Yeah.
and it's cool. Like you're on the road, and you sort of get a bit more different respect and more respect for each other, because Callum and I, Dane was on the road, Andrew Priolo, like you start connecting with them more so over east than in your own backyard. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
it's crazy. It's crazy that you start talking to each other a lot more on the other side of the country than you do, you know, pitted next to each other in Perth.
yeah, well, you all go through the same trip, whether you're flying or your team's got to drive the truck or you got to drive the truck. You are all doing the same thing, and you all get the same thing. Well, West people, they're going to be, you know, the thing is, as soon as you guys don't go well here, it's like, oh, you can only race one place. It doesn't matter
Yeah.
how good you've gone. So I that's where I'm now. I have been to Perth. Like before, I had been to Perth. I'm like, no idea. And when they do come to me, you guys were West guys. But when you've travelled the country, everyone starts to not be a West guy and East guy, because one night they can excel, and the other night they can go to the exact same track they were good at a week ago and not be so good. It's just the hardness of the sport you guys are in. So, what's the plan? You know, heading into this year a bit. Now, you mentioned it already. You've made me skip my plan already. Now, with your
Sorry,
car
mate.
change, that's all right. Now you've changed car design. You showed me the photos here. It'll be up on the screen now for people watching the pod. What's the go with the 5 number change? What made that come about?
Yeah, well, my wife's will be a bit dirty on me, because she wants me to do like a little interview and explain why. But you're the first one to probably talk to about it. So
Wait. If you release it before the pod, this is going to be next Thursday. So when they're listening to it, you got a week now, brother. So
no, that's all good. No, it's actually my background was dirt go-karts
Yep.
from when I was the age of 5, and that was sort of my number throughout go-karts, to be honest. Number 5 stuck with the go-kart side of thing, and brought me a lot of success through the go-kart years. And when I finally went speedway, I was a bit of a late bloomer. I think I was 24, 25 by the time I went even into the speedway scene.
Yeah.
Obviously, yeah, they're like, here's a bunch of numbers that you can
Oh,
choose, and I was like, oh well, 80 seems, you know, the best looking number at the time. So
yeah.
number 5 come up. My crew chief Bo, actually, he did the work in the background, and I just mentioned it to him. I was like, oh, who's been running number 5 the last few years? Because I haven't seen it on the track. And he sort of did a bit of investigating, and
Yeah.
and managed to snag it. So I was stoked. He sort of said, "Up, hey, mate, you're gonna have to change. You know, like you start thinking about a number change. You're like, far out. I've got some stuff that has 80 on it, like your mule and your transporter, your glass doors. Like you start thinking, you're like,
It's not
far
just
out.
a number. Yeah.
Maybe did we make the right decision here? But no, like I think it's hopefully brings me some more good success, and just trying to have that revamp, and
Yeah.
just try and start from start a bit fresh, to be honest. Just have a bit of a not restructure, but just a clean slate, and see how we go.
Yeah. Well, I can feel that from you, because that transition from Diamond Bay to the 80, there was a lot of just nothing after it. Then you're back at the track in the 80. So, like, from everyone on the outside, it was like, oh, so what happened? And he said, you know, going through some personal stuff, moving away, you know, and then Kerry Madsen's there. Then obviously the question's like, well, did he get sacked for Kerry Madsen coming, or what happened? So that was a rough period, I'm sure, for you, mate. And if you don't mind, what, you know, was it going through those months where one minute you signed up for Diamond Bay, about to do the series again, and then all of a sudden, you know, you needed to step away, which I believe mental health is the biggest, most important thing over everything in the world.
Yeah, and it's honestly haven't spoken about it. I've sort of kept pretty tight-lipped and just worked on myself. But yeah, like obviously can't thank him enough for the opportunity for the couple of years I raced for him. Like I probably wouldn't expect to win a Maddington Toyota Championship and then go over to Warrnambool and win a feature race. Like
Man,
that
that
would
was
be
so
something
cool. Mm.
that you dream of, but you didn't think would become reality. And to get the call up from the guys and said come down to Bunbury and have a chat to us was a little bit surreal, and it was awesome. Like I hope I drive a car that's set up as good as that. That was I say to my old man and that car was just unreal to drive. Like it was just glued to the track and just easy to drive. Like it just so settled. Like that's how I'd describe it. Like it was just, you weren't fighting it. You weren't on the wheel. You were just like, it was just doing it easy. And I'm like, I hope we can get my car to feel like that one day. But
Yeah.
honestly, going back into how it, uh, how we split, it was a strange one. I don't know if they had things happening in the background. Like I'll probably never know whether they, were moving on with me anyway, and they had Madsen in the background. Like I did, you
Mm.
hear a lot of rumors, and you try and
Yeah.
block them out.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of names getting thrown around that were taking my seat, and I was like, hey, if my time's up, my time's up. Like I'll just keep rolling into the season as if I'm driving
Got
the
the seat.
Diamond Bay Cup.
Yeah.
I went down there in the off season. I was fitting my seat. I was still doing the usual. So I'm like, in the back of my head, I'm like, hey, as far as I know, I'm in the car. Like
Yeah.
yeah. So it was a bit,
Yeah.
yeah. It was. I was still bringing my own sponsors on board for the deal for the season ahead, and yeah, there was just unfortunately, a lot of noise in the background that I was trying to block out, but it started like probably taking effect at like mentally, like even before the season had started. It was like a lot of rumors swirling around and this and that, and I'm just like, and then it started when came time to drive the car. They're like, hey, we're not going to do the first round. We're not doing the series, and it was discussed in the off season, like, but it was sort of like, all right, I didn't like, wasn't really communicated good. Like, oh, we're not doing the first round. Do I get my own car out? Or like, it was a bit like
That's what it felt
it's
like from this side, man. Because then you're
yeah,
like there, and well, is he back in it next week? Because I was there round one, and I was like, so
yeah.
is this just this week? And because yeah, so
And that's what it felt a bit like for me. So it was when I was like, oh yeah, am I actually in this car? Or so I just ripped my own car out, like literally wasn't ready at all. Just ripped it out for the first round, and I was like, oh, I want to go racing. That's the start of the season.
yeah,
Um, so then yeah, we did a practice night the following week, and then I was doing the second round in the car, and just I think all the noise, honestly, it's hard to say it, but it just got to me, and I'm like, I probably had the worst performance I've ever had in the car,
yeah.
coming off them. And think we finished like, you know, 12th or 15th. And I was like, I wasn't even, I said to a few people and my wife when I got out, I was in the car racing, but it felt like I wasn't. Like it was all
Out
this
of
noise.
body.
And
Yeah,
yeah,
like
it
going
was a
through the
strange,
motion, not racing. Like just I'm in the
yeah,
car, but I'm not
yeah.
going. Yeah, I get you.
I'm just like rocked up and don't know, like I'm just like, all right. Yeah, it was the most strange experience, and I was like, this is bizarre. Like I've like racing one of the coolest teams, but I'm like, like am I actually in it, or am I like not? So it was bizarre. And then we sort of had to catch up. That obviously my performance was woeful. Like I was shocking, and
Yeah.
I couldn't even. I was just running the
Like
bottom, and they
when
said,
you say your performance, was that the whole night just wasn't going well, or the feature?
I think yeah, I struggled the whole night from time
Yeah.
trials. We missed the invert. As soon as you miss the invert at the
Yeah.
at the motor plates, you're struggling in your heat, and then you're sort of fighting at the back of the heat, and then we pretty much started, I think, towards the back of the field, like 18th or something.
Yeah.
So the whole night was sort of just, just wasn't put together. Probably from myself as a driver.
Yeah.
And we had a. They said, all right. They rang me. I think the following week and said, hey, come down to the Bunbury, which is where
Yeah.
their car Diamond Bay is. And so we drove down, and they said, like, what's the go? And they sort of I just said, I don't know. Like I just not myself. Like all
Yeah.
these rumors and all this talk is just unfortunately getting to me. And then I sort of said, oh, maybe I need a break. And it was almost as if like the words didn't even come out of my mouth, and they had someone ready to jump straight in. So I was
Mm.
like, it was a little bit of maybe some of those rumors were true, that they had, they were ready to move on. They've done, maybe, I don't know, maybe they'd done what they wanted with me, and they won a championship, and it was it was time to move on. But looking back at it, I wish they probably just were straight up front and just said, hey, um,
Mm.
like, look, instead of maybe dragging me along a bit, just said, hey, we're ready for a new driver. And I would have been like, yeah, no dramas, like, sweet, I'll go back to my own car. But it's probably just the unknown of it all, to be
Yeah,
honest.
I feel you. It just, to me, as an outsider listening now, I know the Diamond Bay guys, they're a bunch of young guys, great guys too. Like, and you can say that, whatever's happened, but they're still a great bunch of guys. Do
Yeah.
you feel like maybe from both sides in that off season, maybe both weren't communicated like directly enough? It was sort of like you are both all going through the motions because they maybe something might have cool come up for them and goes, are we staying with James or do we, as a race team and a car owner, you're like, maybe do I do that endeavor? And then
Yeah.
you like going, a lot of noise, but I'm just going to go put my seat in because I'm ready. Well, I thought it was. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so,
Yeah.
yeah, I could only imagine. Like I said, I've never been a driver, never been a race team, but from that, what you've just said there just sounds like a lot of communication from both sides didn't go as well, and that's why, like, even you doing that round one in your own car was like, well, I'm just racing. Like, what's happening?
Yeah.
So, mm,
Yeah, 100%. And honestly, like it was, it was almost like trying to mesh two teams together as well. So like it was my team wanted to race and be involved and still, help
yes,
me, and
yes,
then it
yeah,
was
I get you.
their team. So there was a bit of that going on as well. Like
Had that
and
always happened?
it's probably at the start. It was probably like, oh, that's wicked. Like, just go and do your thing. But then I think as the seasons went on, my team were getting also a bit like, hey, like itchy feet, and like, oh,
Mm. And you're
we
doing
want to,
well. We want to
yeah, and
help
we're, and
you.
we're doing so well. And
Yeah,
honestly, that Diamond Bay did let my guys and my old man, who I obviously was raced with since I was a kid,
yeah.
they did let them get involved, but they also want to run their own team how they want to run their team without too many. You can have
Which
too many people.
you can.
So
Oh, how many? And that's when sometimes too many guys on race teams, things can go wrong.
it was 100%. Things weren't necessarily going wrong, but there was just starting to so many opinions, like too many
Yeah,
people, too
yeah,
many
I bet.
opinions, too many ideas, and everyone is in it for the right reason. They want to win and they
Yeah,
want to help me, but sometimes it starts clashing a little bit
yeah.
because you start getting like upwards of, I don't know, like my team and their team. You could talk about 8 to 10 people. It starts becoming too much noise, and it's just honestly, like if we maybe set more strict boundaries, maybe I don't know, maybe it would be still rolling in the car, mate. I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
you can't look back on it and dwell on it. Like, it was
Yeah.
it was a wicked experience. I would what they gave me as an opportunity, like I'll be forever grateful. So yeah, like we've just, you know, still talk and still talk to each other at the track, and
Yeah.
just move on with both teams, I guess.
Yeah, and now, like you said, you're ready now. You're rebranding, which is exciting. Well, me as a social media guy, I love rebranding. So, seeing your
Yeah.
new deliveries and numbers, like that is like, it's awesome. So, with with the Diamond Bay deal, mate, like you got to also pat yourself on the back. A lot of great drivers have been in that car, won races, and you're a part of that, mate. Don't forget that, yeah? Like, you've won a series. Like you said, not many Diamond Bay guys have come to Warrnambool and won features, especially on an Australian title prelim night, mate. Like, no,
Yeah.
they're big achievements you got in that car, and that's where, like, you're not just a guy that had a seat there. You're a big part and forever will be a part of Diamond Bay, mate. So,
Yeah, 100%. And that, honestly, that's probably my, honestly speaking, truthfully, that's probably my biggest downfall is I don't give myself enough credit. I thought I was always thinking when I was in that car and that team that I far out that I shouldn't be in here. Like, this is had some awesome drivers, and I've just come from go-karts sort of thing and hadn't really grown up in the speedway scene at all. I just come from go-karts, was a late starter, and I was like, they've had the likes of Brooke Tatnall and, oh, there's a list of guys like
Jason Johnson.
Johnson, and when you start, seeing all their trophies and their photos and whatnot in their shed, you're like,
Wow.
I shouldn't be here. Like, I shouldn't be driving this car. And that was unfortunately my biggest downfall. Like, my family always tried to pick me up and said, "Hey, you're good enough." They picked you for a reason, but I don't know. It was just something that I could never. I just didn't think I was worthy of it, and it's sad in a way because I did grab the opportunity with both hands, but I felt like I felt like it just caught up with me. Like,
Yeah.
I was always thinking about the negative. If I crash this car, like if I die, like I didn't, we built our own car and our own team with not a lot of money. So you're like, how expensive this stuff is, and you're like,
Yeah.
I don't want to scratch this car. I don't want to I don't want to bend a nerve bar. And that's what it got down to. When I did wreck something, I went to the shops, bought it, and took it down with me. Like, and they didn't expect that, but that was me just feeling that bad about damaging something that I had to replace it. I
Yeah.
had to go and buy a part and take it down there and go, hey, well, like, this is what I wrecked a rim on the weekend. This is a new rim, and they didn't expect it at all. But I think it caught up with me, like, and that's where I did hit. Honestly, I hit rock bottom. I over the years racing for them, and not even just for them, for my own car and my own team, I was stressing about, like, the money, the
Yeah.
wrecking stuff, like I just couldn't drive as aggressive and as hard because in the back of my mind I was thinking about, hey, I won't be able to go racing again if I wreck this car. And it's unfortunately, I'm in the wrong sport to be having that mentality. Like, a, you've got to be aggressive, and you've got to not think about, unfortunately, the damage bill. But that's probably why a lot of people say that's why I don't also wreck a lot of gear, because I've got that in the back of my mind as well.
Mm.
I don't think I've wrecked two or three cars maybe throughout my whole career. So it is a double-edged sword, mate. Like, it really is. Like, you wanna drive these things on the knife's edge, and you have to be,
Yeah.
competitive. But I'm just had this thing in my head that I just don't want to wreck anything, and I just, yeah, it's weird mentality, mate.
Yeah, no, mate, I get it. It's just the human brain can be very stupid sometimes, and then, like you said, unless you reach out and try get explain to yourself, then it starts to make sense. But while you're doing your own head in, you literally just keep. It's like sprint car racing. Keep going in the same circle. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm pumped. Oh, I didn't finish well. Oh, well, if I drive a bit hard, I'm going to wreck it. So I can't race next week. But how about you focus on racing now? But
Yeah.
you know, so but where exactly is there a point where that type of stuff started that you felt in the Diamond Bay deal, or like it wasn't just day one? I mean, if you did that, if with that attitude and sorry, not attitude, mental awareness, and you won a championship like that, that must have been still a tough year in the car winning a championship.
100%, mate. And I think that's what ate me up. When I was like it when I was so nervous that they said, "Hey, let's drive our car." I was I could not sleep. I was beside myself. I was like, far out. These guys are letting me drive, their $150,000 race car, and it's their they live and breathe it. Like I
Yeah.
thought I lived and breathed sprint cars. They next level. Like they love it, and
Yeah.
I just thought. So I had the first couple of meetings, I was a nervous wreck, mate. Like couldn't even, I was shocking. Like, I'm going to be sacked before I've even started this. Like I had some of the worst meetings, and then I had to find a way to just push through it. I'm like, I used that much energy, during the week to think I can't throw this deal away. Like this is a dream in a lifetime to drive for,
Diamond
such a
Bay.
team.
Yeah.
I can't. I've just got to push through it. Like just turn up. And I was it's hard to explain. I was that sick waking up. I'm like on race day. I'm like far out, and I could only think about what the bad things that hadn't even happened yet. I was thinking about crashing the car or spinning out, and just start thinking all this negative stuff before it's like you've even rocked up to the track.
Yeah.
And we started, I don't honestly can't tell you how I pushed through and had started getting the car rolling, but I'd win a feature race, and pretty much my first 410 feature race, and I'd be on the podium already thinking about what's going to happen next meeting, like already thinking,
It's so hard.
far,
You know what, man? I relate to you in what you're saying now. Sometimes it's so hard to be present.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
like, and I
I
think
wish I
maybe I'm
was.
I'm feeling you there a bit. Sometimes, like, I can be, I don't know, it's weird. I can be with my kids trying to enjoy it, but unless I slow down, my head's thinking about 20 minutes from now or 2 weeks. Or me with where's my next race going to be? How am I going to plan the year? And you're like, mate, just
Just
slow down, be
enjoy.
present, be
Yeah,
present. Like,
yeah.
and like you just said, like you're just having these great achievements, but you're going. Everyone around you is present around you, and that's a weird feeling, and I can relate you to that.
100%, mate. It's the strangest feeling. Like when we won that prelim night, like the probably is gonna be my biggest, win of my career. I was at the back of the trailer, and everyone's just, like
Pumped.
amped up and pumped, and just couldn't believe what happened, and I couldn't believe what happened either. But I was already in the back of my head thinking about the following night, thinking, oh, what's going to happen tomorrow night. Like I put myself in a good position tonight, and I didn't even unfortunately didn't even enjoy the win. That probably the biggest win I will ever have that night. Like I was already
Yeah,
worried about the next night. So
yeah.
I think to answer your question, mate, I think it did catch up with me, and I did, I fell into a really really unfortunately dark and lonely place, and I think it was probably the pressure I was putting on myself more
Yeah,
than,
100%.
I did feel pressure from the team. There was no doubt about that. Like they were there to win, and they would tell you that they would remind you like they want results. So obviously you did get that external pressure from the team, but I think what burnt me out was
Pressure on
honestly putting
yourself.
so much pressure on myself. And yeah, it was honestly, mate, it wasn't fair on my family. It wasn't fair on my kids or my wife.
Mm-hmm.
It was it's hard to explain. It's a bloody sport that we should be, enjoying and having fun. And it's, it, oh mate, it rolled me. It really, you know, it really pushed me down to the bottom of the earth
mate.
that where you just didn't think existed. So yeah, crazy. But hope, you know, that passed us and done a lot of work, a lot of work on myself, seeing, you know, psychologists, sporting psychologists,
Yeah.
you know, doing stupid things that I'd never think I'd do, like
They're not
breath work.
stupid. Calm down. Well, mate,
But you
that was
know,
my next question because, mate, think of this like you've been through an experience and sometimes you're going for it. Someone could be listening to this right now and be relating and going,
yeah.
wow, I'm that guy. Now, is there certain steps that you felt you benefited from that someone listening could go, man, I'm going to give that a crack. I'm at a bit of a wit's end now.
And honestly, I listened to Ian Madsen's podcast, and I'm like, holy shit, that was me. Like he
Yeah.
was telling us about his, you know, his dark times and his I never got to the stage where I used, you know, used substances or anything. I probably used alcohol, but I
Yeah.
never got to.
Second that one. Yep, I feel you.
But
Yep.
I was like listening to his podcast with, I think it was Wade, and I was like, far out, like I can relate to that. And yeah, for anyone listening, like I think my biggest thing, and my obviously my wife and my family helped me the most, but it was
Mm,
just to get like move your body. It was just to just put those runners on and just start exercising. Just it
yeah.
was for me, it was just get off the couch and just start moving, like start it's weird. It starts making you putting certain, you know, things in your body that make you start feeling good again. So yeah, just I think for me the biggest thing was starting to just force yourself to go for a run, force yourself to go to the gym, just anything, just start moving again. Because I think when you just on the couch or you're just stagnant, that's what kills you.
Yeah, I feel you when you know that feeling of I don't want to do anything. I want to curl up into a ball. You know that can be a safe place, but that's not a good place to be. You know, so getting moving, getting out, or just like you said, trying something different. Like even if like, you're not a golfer, go and have a round of golf, bro. Like just
Yeah.
get out there. So you touched on something there, sports hypnotist. Now, was it sports psychologist? You said.
Yeah, I was more a psychologist just to try and come up with yeah, like ways of dealing with the, because anxiety was a huge one for me. Like
Yeah.
before the meetings,
Yeah,
I'd
you
get
said you were
so,
so sick and you couldn't
yeah,
focus. Yeah.
I'd get so anxious. I couldn't sleep the night before racing. I couldn't eat. I couldn't. You're like you're looking at your watch and you're like, far out. I've
I
got to go
better
to
go
the
to
track.
bed. Well, I got to go to
And
bed first.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. But when I'm woken up, I'm like counting down the hours that I've got to leave home, and you're physically sick because you're winding yourself up and you're so anxious about you just yeah, about all the bad things that hasn't even happened yet. So
Yeah.
yeah, psychologist was, you know, someone that was just to talk to you, to try and you know, even just as basic stuff like breathing and breath work, to bring your nervous system back down. And I would be in the chute and feel like the chute of like as in the grid about to
Yeah.
go
Yeah.
out, and you start getting that anxious. You'd have to start I'd start practicing breath work in my helmet just to bring my nervous system back down. And this was just before we're about to take the, you know, green light.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
But like you said, it's still, mate, like it's a big step to realize that and go to these things because they're not cheap as well. Like, you know, you've got a family business and all that stuff. And then it's like, oh, yeah, $380 plus to go see that. And you're like, uh, you know, so, but is it something you're happy you did, even if what you didn't get a lot out of it, but at least you went, hey, I'm like you said, moving, not exercising, but I'm mentally trying to, you know, work on myself.
yeah. I think the biggest benefit is as guys especially, you don't want to tell your wife or your mum or dad or like, you know, your struggles. So I think
For sure, mate.
you end up just not talking about it. You're not going to tell your best mate at the pub what what you're going through and how you're feeling. So I think it's just having that almost random person that you can just let it out, talk to. I think that's the biggest thing about it, is just having that person that will just listen, and I don't know, you're not even going to see them in public, hopefully. Like
exactly. Yep.
You just have your you just talk to them, and then when you leave, you're like, what, an hour session, you're like, oh, you feel a bit, I don't know, a bit lighter. You're like, oh, I've just gotten whatever was on your chest. And I used to talk about with the psychologist everything about racing, and it was probably my number one topic, honestly, was racing. And I used to talk about all the people in the team and what role they played and how they're affecting me. And it's just honestly just having that someone that doesn't know anything about sprint cars, but just having someone to talk to.
And when you say affecting me, that word doesn't mean negative. Like, that person could be affecting me really good, or these two people are great for me, but around me they don't work together and make me feel like shit. So that's affecting me. But individually they're ripper blokes, but together they don't work. So exactly, that's where people can twist words into when you're saying you're affecting me, but the word affection means however that makes you feel. So and like I said, mate, I appreciate you being honest and talking about it, because like, it is a step when you can talk about it. Like I said, it's very important when we got, like, you got a platform like this. You never know, there could be like more than 10 people that you're helping right now. So I really appreciate that, mate. And like you said, the big thing is men don't talk. So please, men out there, just have a chat. Just anyone. Especially, I'm a mama's boy. I put my hand up. I go and cry to mama when I need to. So if you don't have a mama, find a mama figure, because they always help. So I reckon.
Yeah.
So all right, let's get back into the racing stuff. So we've flipped my script, which is fine, right? So let's go back to the kid age then, and work our way back to present. I've mixed it up. Go-karts, tar go-karts, or dirt go-karts? What was young Jamie Inglis doing back then?
Yeah, so it was dirt karts. My first club in Perth was actually like where Tander and the likes of them sort of raced, and it was pretty cool. Like, you hop in a dirt cart at the age of 5 or 6, and I sort of started then because my old man was racing dirt karts, and I sort of just tagged along, and
for sure.
That's where I started. James McFadden's. It's just where everyone starts. It's where my young boy next year, hopefully. Well, maybe I'll give him a golf club or something, but instead. Hopefully that's just where you grassroots racing. It's cheap, affordable, and you just go have fun with your mates, and we just did it for every weekend. Just it was footy, played footy, and it was dirt go-karts. That's all there was.
Wait a second, are you a Western Australia guy? Footy's AFL. Just want to make sure.
Yeah, definitely AFL. Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Just so all the listeners know, he punches the red ball around. He doesn't tackle. He just shoulder charges. All right.
Yeah.
It's honestly a better product than what rugby league is now, anyway. So, all right. So straight into the karts. Did you have success? Was it something that you always wanted to tag along with, or you sort of said, "Okay, Dad does this, I want to join in," and then you just grabbed it and ran with it?
Yeah, I just honestly was he said it was going to take a while for me to get into it, because I was pretty scared of it, to be honest. He was just obviously very patient and just let me go at my own pace. So just eventually, you eventually get past that stage when you're a young kid and you just get into it. And then we had I just had a lot of success, which was pretty cool. Like, we didn't have, we didn't have the business, we didn't have a lot of money. So it was a lot of better equipment out there. And I was, Dad made my go-kart, like he made it from scratch in the shed, and it was a bunk. You look back at it now, like, holy I don't even know how I got that thing around the track.
She
like,
was beat up. Yeah.
It was a bunky car, and my motors were like, we used to just build them ourselves. And I remember swapping go-karts as a young kid with my mate who had a proper, like, full, the real deal.
Ripped up.
And
Yeah.
I just got out of it and thought, well, I don't even know how I can keep up with this guy. His motor feels like it was three of my motors, and his cart actually handled. And honestly, when I look back at it, I give Dad shit all the time, but maybe that's what, I've won state titles and that with this bunky go-kart that pretty much had half the power of everyone else, and managed to win state titles and have success. And I think Dad realised far out, like, getting a bit serious now. I probably should go and buy him something decent. And this wasn't probably until I was in my teenage years that he did it. And like he was just, like working 9 to 5 job at West Track at the time. Like, he was just on wages.
Yeah.
And he's like, it was a big deal for Mum and Dad to go and spend, a couple of grand on $5,000 on a go-kart back then. And
sure.
yeah, and then that's when it just sort of went to the next level. And honestly, if I was to fast forward my go-kart years, like, traveled all around Australia, won Australian championships, won a lot of, I think it's 11 or 12 Australian championships I've got. And we just had a lot of success, but not necessarily the funding either. And that's where I guess I never got into the speedway scene. I'd go to the speedway every now and then, but it was like not on the radar for us. Like, it was it was just.
Why was that, you think? Like, you were successful in this dirt go-kart? Where did you think it was gonna go?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it was weird. Like, honestly, if I was to fast forward, I was like probably early 20s, and a few of my go-kart mates got into Formula 500s.
Right,
and I obviously had a license and that then, so I was like, oh yeah, I'll go give him a hand. Like, didn't think anything of it. Went to a speedway a few times and gave a few of my mates a hand with their Formula 500s, and went back to Dad one day and said, hey Dad, like, I want to do something different than, like, my mates all getting into, like, like these Formula 500s. Like, I want to buy one of them and just try something different.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh yeah, like, yeah, well, I've always liked sprint cars. We should look at getting one of them. And like, we knew nothing about it. Like, we knew, like, didn't even know what a 410 was or a 360 was or whatever.
Wow, that's crazy.
So we ended up buying this 410 whole team outfit. Like,
do you remember who it was? Whose team it was?
It was Will. We flew to Victoria and bought it all. It was Will Carroll's in Warrnambool.
Carroll, yeah, okay, yeah, I remember that name.
So, like, I was an apprentice mechanic and doing FIFO, like, fly out Western Australia, saving up my pennies. I think I had like $80,000 or $100,000 saved up, and I just blew it on this sprint car team. Like,
what?
just blew my whole, like,
what you worked for.
Like, what I worked for, like, my whole apprenticeship. I was like, I was gonna buy a house or something with it. Like, that's what I was saving up for. Yeah. And Dad's like, well, we actually going to do this or what? So we rolled back to Perth with a 410 full, like, car, motor, and a trailer, and like a quad. That's like, we bought his whole team out.
A race team, you just said,
So I just bought the whole race team, and they didn't have the best gear, but it wasn't bad either. It was still like an older KRE motor, and it was a Maxim. Didn't even know what a Maxim was back then. And
wait, you're saying, like, apprentice here? Are we talking like 18, 19, or 20-ish? 24, you said, actually. Like, so you're 24. Is that around?
Yeah, right? 23, 24 by the time by the time we bought it. And like, I was probably 20. Yeah, I'd have to look back. About 22, 23, 24, somewhere there.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And we just was tinkering in the shed because I'm a mechanic, the old boy's a mechanic, and so we're just like, we don't have a clue what we're doing. And we just rock up to the Motorplex one Wednesday night and didn't know anyone, was just like winging it. And had to get someone, I think it was Jeff Murphy, sort of at the time. I had to get him, and Gavin Mygro, I remember, was on the infield, didn't know him from bar soap, and I was like, mate, how do you start this thing? Like, and so they're telling me like how to
Wild.
fire it up. And then Jeff Murphy was like, I better like, make sure that the seat's bolted in properly and like
Yeah, well,
actually safe. And then because we just rocked up with a 410, not knowing any different, and hadn't driven around a speedway track in any other.
So you never even got the Formula 500. You just went straight to the big dog.
Just straight on the track at the Kwinana Motorplex with a 410. Just like never ever driven around it in a push ute or anything. Like just.
But you've watched a bit of it leading to this, surely. Like, had you been
watching
like regularly?
A little bit. Like, I remember Dad taking us down to like Claremont days, like and I was a young kid, and I have fond memories of Claremont days, and so he would go as spectators for sure.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, like we wouldn't know anyone in the pits, or we wouldn't really you come across go-kart people in the crowd, and like around,
whatever.
Yeah, but there was no like working on the car. There was no scraping mud. There was nothing. It was like literally rock up with a 410 sprint car.
That's outrageous.
And honestly, it was our plan to we'll just get you going. The 410 was worn out. Like the guy, Will Carroll, and that said, mate, it needs a rebuild. Like
the motor needs
refresh. I wouldn't race it. Yeah, I wouldn't race it. But if you're just going to cut some laps and practice, it'll be all right. So I went down and just started cutting some laps, and I think Gavin and that was giving us a few pointers on how to, where to hold the steering wheel and stuff like that. And then we just never sold it. We're just like, all right, let's get this thing rebuilt and go 410 racing. Like, yeah. And that's how it happened.
So you do these practice meets, right? How many practice meets did you get till, you're like, okay, I'm confident to start racing people, because that's a big thing, like just being out there on the track. How long and how many sessions was that period?
I reckon we spent like most of the season just doing Wednesday nights, which is the beauty of
that is good. That is awesome, really.
Yeah. So I thought I was up to speed, and then a guy would come past you, and you're standing still, and you're like, I think we got to do a few more practice runs before we're racing, because like it was wild, like going from a go-kart to a 410 sprint car with suspension. I never experienced a suspension because go-karts are just rigid, like
this way,
no
that
suspension.
way, that way.
Yeah. And like I just remember as a young 23 or 24-year-old, I was just like a sponge. Like I'd just walk around. That's when they still had World Series going on and that. So I'd just walk around, and I'd be like 2 steps behind like people like Brooke Tatnall on a Wednesday night, and just listen to what he's saying to someone else. I would just be like a random kid standing there listening to how he probably didn't. A lot of them didn't even know I was out, starting a race, and I was like just trying to soak up as much information, and it was good. It was also draining. Like I was trying to learn.
Like, you didn't understand it. It's like sounds like trigonometry, yeah.
It was wild. Like they're talking shock numbers and that, and you're just like, what are they on about? Like it's just like, and I had to honestly, I think that's what got me where I am today. Like I had to span up on my own car. The old man was good with motors, and he kept the motor going and that, but he had no idea on setup. Like he could not set a car up, and so I had to learn all that. Like, we would do stupid shit. Like I think one time I would have the wrong wheel, like the front wheels were. I think we still do that today, actually. But put the front wheels on the wrong way, and go out and forget. Put bleeders in, and we'll just do stupid stuff. And it's pretty. Looking back on it, it's pretty funny because we just had no idea, right? Like we had no one helping us. We were just winging it, and honestly, that's how I think I learnt so much. Like I just had to learn. There was no other
Yeah.
way. It was like survive or drown, sort of.
Yeah. And so, what was the process of learning? Like, honestly, mate, like, what you're telling me is like you were literally knew nothing. So, like, we're talking like, how'd you learn torsion bars? How'd you learn to change them? Shocks. What shock to put where? Who, like, did you go
Yeah.
and source out these help and have big chats with people? Or was it more like you go, hey, I'm simple, it might be this, right? Hey, I feel like I'm like this in the car, and someone goes, put this shock on. You don't really know what it is, but you put it on, you're like, geez, that's pretty good. Was it
Yeah.
simple stuff like
Yeah.
that?
100%. Because I didn't know how the car was even meant to feel, to be honest. So it's like I didn't know, like, yeah. And honestly, I learned quickly that because I was listening to everyone, it was probably the worst thing as well. It's just I was
Too
listening to
much.
everyone, and
Different
everyone's
opinions.
obviously experts and knows everything, and you're just like, yeah, all right, we'll try that. Oh yeah, I'll try that. And I had to get to a stage where, luckily, Jeff Murphy sort of came over and said, hey mate, let's spend a few days in the shed. So he come in my shed and went through it all, and
Yeah, that's
it was
awesome.
it was really good. I had that one person. He's sort of been around forever and a really smart
Yeah.
guy. He's like, all right, don't listen to everyone. Let's just go down our path. Let's just work
Yeah.
together and do our thing. And I would have like a big white, as I started getting up to speed, I'd have like a massive whiteboard in my trailer with all my setup. And Jeff's like, what are you doing? Like, you can't have, like, people are going to see that. I'm like, yeah, but I'm just trying to write everything down.
I'm
So
trying
I
to
like,
remember.
I'm trying to
Yeah.
remember. He's like, oh, you got to get an iPad or you got to get a bit of, a notebook where people can't. I was like, I didn't think it was a big deal.
Who
Like,
wants
people
my
would come,
setup?
yeah, who wants my setup? And it was like, now that we actually were starting to go somewhere, it was like, yeah, we'd take the whiteboard down and
Yeah.
yeah, it was pretty funny.
So did Jeff help you over a few Wednesdays, like at the track with you cutting laps and communicating? Is that how it
Yeah,
really started to take off?
yeah, 100%. Jeff he would come to the shed and would go through the car and make sure my axles or my rear ends even square and all that sort of stuff. And he was pretty good with the safety side of it, which was cool because I was pretty oblivious to, like, everything.
Which you can be. It's not
Yeah.
hard to be if you're not sure
So
what you're
just
looking at.
making sure all the belts and that were right and everything. So he would come through go through the shed and then would go to Wednesday night and he would have like a box of shocks and he's like, "Oh, did that one feel any different?" And I'm like, "Well, I think so. I don't know."
Yeah, that's hard. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like I couldn't give any. I was pretty bad for feedback. Like I was like, "Oh yeah, I think that was better." Like, and then he's like, "You've got to start like thinking what the car's doing. You got to start giving us feedback." So yeah, I had to learn pretty quick. Like it was we finally got racing, did my first meeting, and they started me rear field, and we finished the feature in seventh or eighth, and I was like, yeah, and then it was sort of like, all right, we're getting up to speed. But then once you got up to speed and it felt like it was easy getting up to speed. But once you got up to the speed, it was like, all right, now feel like you start going backwards. Feels like
Yeah. Okay.
it was like
That's a.
a whole nother ball game. Yeah,
I get that. Like you get there, but then you're like, how do I get into the top five now? Like
yeah,
you're right
yeah,
there, but then your seventh then becomes a ninth and a tenth, and then you're back to seventh, and you're like,
yeah.
what's the next stage? So, um, okay, you touched on the feedback there. So, what was the moment of I know what this feels like when you gave the right feedback, like you know what I mean? Where was a moment where you guys learnt to communicate and you actually gave the right feedback? Like, and then you just made a change and you're like, oh my God, I told him this feels better.
Um, it's feedback's the hardest thing with these things. Like, I'm still a shocker for it. Like, but yeah, it was a stage where you start realizing what you liked as a driver as well. Like it was started becoming, oh, I hate when it rolls up on the right rear, and I feel like I'm you know, I feel like I'm about to roll over off on my side. Like I like it angled, and so you start gathering what you like as a driver, and Jeff was sort of figuring out what I liked as well, and then that's probably when it was like, all right, we've gotten what you like, the feeling. Let's start fine tuning it now, and yeah, obviously track conditions are always changing, but I think coming from go-karts, Jeff sort of always said that I had good throttle control. I could feel the wheels under me, and I could, I wouldn't just blast the rear tires off me. So I think that was one of my um, biggest benefits, is that I could really had good throttle control and feel my wheels. And I think with 900 plus horsepower, it's probably what's helped me so much in the sport. And the reason why I like your slower, slick tracks is because I can really, really start using my feet and feeling the rear tires.
That's what I was going to ask. So a lot of people, when they get into it, they struggle with the slick track straight away. But you just said you sort of felt like you excelled. Um, you know, that first ever slick track you went on, was that pretty daunting? Where you're like, oh my god, there actually is no grip out here.
Oh, 100%. Like I used to come in and it would be on the fence, and I'd go backwards. I'd start and I'd come in and I'm like, what am I doing wrong? And Jeff's like, mate, you're like 2 car lengths off the fence. Like you're entering, like you're not even entering on it. And I'm like, oh, it feels like I am. But and he's like, mate, like you've just got to get up on the fence and where the dirt is, and put your wheel on the dirt. And it was like, until you actually started getting the confidence then to start driving the car how you should be, it was like, far out. If I'm going to be anywhere in this sport, I've got to like grow a set and actually have a go. And you start looking at people like McFadden was wicked. He was actually awesome to me. Like I didn't know him from a bar of soap, and he was one of the guys I'll take my hats off to. I was like an up and coming nobody, and he would he would give me time of day to talk to me where to position my car, whether I'm running, like why my time trial was so shit. Like he would tell me like you did this, like
And he's watching
hats off,
everything. Like
hats off to the mate. Like he's we're good mates now, and I don't have time for him. I just and the time he had for someone like me was unreal, mate.
That's what I
Unreal.
was about to say. And even when you're, as from what I do, I'm filming, trying to watch everything. He is one of the guys. He is never not watching the track when he's on that infield. It's not
And
like he
that's
comes in and he's frustrated. He's frustrated, but he gets straight on that mule and he's like he'll
yeah.
watch every car nearly turn laps, and that's where maybe he might have said, "Hey, I think this guy could be all right." Like maybe he's seen something that you could qualify good, but then when it got a bit hard, is whatever James thinks. But that's awesome to hear that he doesn't have to.
No.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, especially now, then you see, oh, that now he's competing against me. Oh, I've just made another guy half decent.
Yeah, like honestly, like yeah, unreal bloke, mate. Like I couldn't put my hat off to him enough. Like to give me the day and uh the time of day to give me tips and whatnot. Like that's honestly why he's as good as he is, because he knows everything. Like he still knows shock numbers. He still knows cars. He still knows what his car's got. And I feel I've taken a lot from him, as if, like anyone with awesome talent can obviously hop in a car and make it go well, but to be that next level driver, I still I still think you've got to put in the hard yards and know what your car has in it and what you need to change. Like you talk to someone like, yeah, maybe Kyle Larson can just hop in a car and win, but that's just crazy talent. Or a Jock Goodyear, same thing, like crazy talent. But for someone like myself, got enough talent, but needs to work bloody hard to get that next level.
Yeah, and Okay. Do you remember the moment you put some balls on and said, I'm driving in as hard as I can to that fence?
Yeah, and honestly, the car, there's no better feeling. Have you driven one yourself? Or
No. I mean, one day maybe, but I mean, I put him in the
there's,
fence enough on iRacing because I don't know how to lift, but
there's no better feeling when you enter when it's on the fence and you're just like you almost cringe as you like put it in on the wall and it just sticks and you're like, oh, that wasn't so bad. And then you've got to get to the other end of the track and you're like, you got to do it again, and you almost like tense up as you're entering. But um, it's just, yeah, it is a wicked feeling. When the car just is set up and it just sticks, and you're running like pretty much running on the wall. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
you guys make it look so easy. It's actually scary. Like, honestly, when you just slide and ripping the tits off because that's the tires, ripping the tits off the tires on the fence. It's just like, because, I watch so much racing. I'm like, oh, yeah. But you actually don't think about how wild until like I put a GoPro on and watch you guys run the fence. And you're like, what the? Is it like when you're in there, mate? Is it literally you're like when you say you're tense? It's because you can feel the wall there in the right side of your eye. Like like now obviously am I close enough or not from doing it and doing it. It's like now like yeah I'm where I need to be. I can't go any higher or I'm in shit.
Yeah, and I think it's just the entry, honestly. Like for me, it's just if you just get it in there and I'm like, oh, sweet, it's done its job. The wing's done its job, and now I can start using my throttle and I can get it off the corner. Like that's good, but it's the entry, especially at the motor plates. You're going so fast. Or it feels fast. You're entering on the wall where you almost cringe a little bit, like, oh, I hope this thing just, does its thing and as soon as it gets in there, it's a split second, you're like, all right, sweet, all right, we're on again. Like, yeah, it's a strange, it's hard to explain, mate,
I
but
bet.
it's a strange drug, I guess. That's what
Oh,
keeps you coming back.
bloody oath. And is it easier when you're racing someone there because you're thinking about them and you're trying to pass them instead of like qualifying, you're like, I got to run the top.
Yeah. I think now it's more daunting running your two qualifying laps on your own than battling for the lead with someone. Like it's more daunting running those two qualifying laps when it's on the wall than sliding each other. So it's
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, I think it's strange. Everyone's eyes are on you, and you're sort of like, oh, far out. I better not plug it into the wall by myself.
I mean, coming from you, we just talked about all that. I'm sure you used to
Yeah.
do your own heading going, oh
Yeah.
shit, it's on the fence, it's on the fence, it's on the fence, it's on the fence. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. What you guys do in the car sometimes, that's where I had a moment at Toowoomba this year. I was on the infield, and when you're at Toowoomba, it's so close, like, to the cars.
Yeah.
I literally was filming and then went, you know what? Stop filming for a set code. Because sometimes when I'm filming, you're there, but you're sometimes watching great moments through something. And you're not like present. Okay, there you go. Like maybe that's why, because I look at everything through a bloody film, right? But I literally put it down and I was standing in turn 2 and I was just like, oh, this is so cool. Like it's just everything about our sport. I'm just like, this is where I'm like, yeah, this is where I want to be. Like, this is what... Like, it was the end of the year for me. Travelled so much, but I was just like, nah, like, I'm going to go even harder next year and make it even bigger. And that's where this sort of pod and I went, no, like, people assume I travel and do all this stuff and make all this money, but no, like, it's not. And especially starting a pod is like starting again. Like, I'm not getting away from Codeman, but I tried to go, no, let's make another brand. Let's make something a bit different where we talk about the people. And that's where, like, when I watch you guys, it's like, when I watch you, it's not number 80 or 5. That's James. That's, when in Perth, that's Callum, that's Dane. Like, when I talk to you guys, it's like, I can go have a beer with you too. So that's where it's that you, like, these conversations are, I feel so important. So when people are watching you guys, it's like, it's not just a race car out there. There's two guys racing each other, and in there, they're probably smiling their fucking face off, mind my French, because it's like, this is so cool, and we're enjoying it. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bloody awesome what you guys do. So you know, you get in this car. What number were you back then? So it was still 80 the whole time you said. How long did you stick it out in the 80 and what was your best performance before the Diamond Bay? Was there a win in that car or a very close night?
Um, this is gonna sound strange, but my first 410 feature win in my own car was, I think it might be my only win in my own car, was with a 360 motor in. So we heard
Wow.
we heard our 410 and we only had the one, and we had a 360. And it was a decent 360. Like, it wasn't nothing special, but well, like at the time, the series was like, I think to get the numbers back and that, we were sort of going through a little bit of a struggle at the Motorplex for numbers, and they were like, all right, if the 360s and the 410s will combine, you guys. But for the feature race, well, which was a little bit unfair to be honest, that they'll put the 360s off the front of the 410s. So even though I necessarily didn't earn my spot for the front, I started off the front, and it sort of went to my advantage. It sort of went pretty slick,
Oh,
and
perfect.
I was like, just hold this 360 flat, give it all it's got, and I was just hanging on, waiting for someone to pass me this whole feature. I'm like, dude, so surely someone's gonna come singing past me
And
soon.
you probably knew the 410 cars then, like who had the
Yeah.
410 motor, so you're waiting for one of the guys you know to come past you.
Yeah, there was still like, back then, there was still like Ryan Fowles, yeah, Mayolo, Shawnee Bradford, David Priolo, Kendrick. Like, it was still some big, decent hitters.
Yeah.
And I'm just giving this 360 all it's got, and ended up winning the feature, and they ended up taking me car away and checking the motor because they were like, oh,
But who cares?
yeah, they end up.
Like,
Some of the teams, there was a bit of whispering going around, like, oh no, but he started off the front, he had a 360, and then some of the teams was like, no, that can't be a 360. So they
but
took me
who?
car,
Oh, right, I get
they
you.
took me car away and measured, did the whole
That's
test,
wild, man.
and it come back fine. It was like, yeah, it's a 360, and yeah, it was pretty funny, eh? But yeah, so that was sort of my first feature win. After that, they pretty much canned it. I think they were like, yeah, 360s aren't.
You ruined it.
Yeah, they're not starting off the front anymore.
Bro, but see, like, see, that's where, like, again, you probably struggled to be present in that moment because they're like, give us your car. You're like,
Yeah.
I just won, bro. Like, what's going on? And then, so they were, what? They honestly thought you had a 410 Dodgely in it. That's why you
Yeah.
won. Because then they were like, well, you shouldn't have started off the front if you had a 410. Not that you won.
Yeah, yeah, and I think the prize money, they probably like wanted to not give me the prize money. They wanted to double check that it was legit. So, which was fair enough. Like, I didn't have any issues with it, but it was just like, it was pretty funny to, yeah, I didn't, like they did make a few rule changes after that, because I don't think they wanted that to happen again. So.
There's the headline. Inglis ruins the 360 division. He's 360 was on steroids.
So yeah, that's my closest win in my 410 car, my number 80 was, and I'll still kick myself today that a yellow ruined the race for me. But I was hunting. It was speed week. I was hunting down. I come from a few like 8th or something, and it was speed week with the Americans over, and McFadden ended up winning it. He was leading, and who was the American that runs Sean Curran's car?
Ziphos?
Zerophos. He was coming second, and it took rubber on the bottom, like, so it become freight train on the bottom. It was like rubber, and then just slick to the wall, like bone
In the
slick.
straights? On the straights, you mean?
And the corners were just
Oh,
bone
wow.
slick.
Okay, yeah.
Like, so there was nothing to get hold of, and I'm sitting in this freight train. I was sitting about 6, I reckon, about 6, or I made a couple of spots, and I was like, oh, this is boring. It's taken rubber, and there was a yellow. It was a restart, and on the restart, I'm just like, I don't even know what I was thinking. I was like, I'm just going to start pounding the fence like as hard as I could. And I started just gaining momentum while everyone was still just chasing the rubber on the bottom. And I come up to Zero Foster's tail tank. He was in second. I'm like, holy shit. Like, there's
I'm up here.
4 or 5 laps to go here. I'm like, far out. I'm on here. And then I could see this yellow number 17 that James was driving at the time.
Monty, yeah.
Monty. And I'm like, holy shit. Like, I'm making ground on him. And I just passed him for the lead with 2 laps to go when someone spun and pulled out the yellows. And there's like, I remember Buzzy and all the crew chiefs were like telling him to get up top. So it was like a green-white checker, 2 laps to go. I got put back to second because like I took the lead, but we got put back a lap.
Yeah.
I was in second, and then James just took my line away from me, and like he was so smart, obviously, and I ended up getting third in that race. Like it was James, Zero Foster, and myself, and I was like, I'll never forget that race. I was like this close, but just wasn't meant to be.
So do you remember that conversation after? Like, were you pretty tight with James then, and like going like he would have went, oh well, you had me, or something like that?
So the funny thing is, the next day we had a break and we went out on the boat together on the river, on the water with James, and we were watching like replays, and I remember him like pretty much on the infield. They didn't have back then. They didn't have tires, or they didn't have like the chopped curb or anything.
Okay, yep.
It was pretty much like, you know how the Motorplex got the bike track?
You can just get on that if you wanted, yeah.
Yeah, so he was pretty much on the bike track, on the concrete, and I was like, and we were both looking at the phone on this boat, and I was like, oh, you're a cheat, you should have got disqualified. And he's like, mate, money's in the bank, like, money's in the bank. And I remember, like, I was still amped up the next day because I'm like, far out. That was one of the coolest races I've ever experienced. Yeah.
Well, that's where like you have that banter, but like when a track gives you that leeway to push boundaries, every driver's a competitor. You're gonna push it. I remember there was a few years at Warrnambool where they didn't really have infield and everyone would be on the bloody grass, and then they tried to put those big tyres out, remember? And then people were clipping them, ripping front ends out, and you're like, well, that was a stupid idea. Put them back on. So it's always going to be one of those sports. And okay, rubber down night. Like, what else are you going to do? Like, you proved that it was working, but just no one wanted to go there. And do you feel like you laid your own sort of rubber up there? Was that slick? Is that what happened, or just was moisture no one found?
No, I was literally bouncing off the wall. Like it was.
Yeah.
I just thought, like it was a bit strange because I was like, I don't know. Usually I just, back then I was like pretty conservative with my own car, and I was like, I was on like knife's edge up there. Like it was either bring it home or bin it. I was like just bouncing off the wall. That's how I was getting grip. And I still watch the replay sometimes today. Like there's still highlights, and I'm like, oh, far out. If only that yellow didn't come out. But
when is this? Just if I want to watch this as well, and then people, do you remember the year or something to give people to have a look at?
I'll find out and I'll message you. I know it was the 28th. It was Speed Week. It was
December. One of the years. Okay, a few years ago. Yeah, sick. All right. Well, then are they the sort of nights and moments like sort of worked into the Diamond Bay deal? Like, how'd that come about after that period?
Yeah, I think they were sort of, they had, I think David Priolo in the car at the time, and
Eliason was there American a bit sometimes too, maybe.
Yeah, he was around. He was doing Speed Week, usually for him, and I think Eliason was still. When we won the championship, the license still came over. I sort of got out the seat, and he did Speed Week, and then I got back in the seat. I ran my own car to accumulate the points for the series still, because the points went to the driver.
Yeah.
So the actual season I won the championship was between my car during Speed Week and then the Diamond Bay car either side.
Cool.
So, and then they so that was really cool. Like I had. Eliason was parked at beside us, and we'd sort of be like a two-car team almost. And
Yeah.
yeah, that was really cool. Like that was almost was the best situation for me, because during that really busy period during Speed Week, the pressure was sort of off me a little bit. Like Eliason was in the spotlight, and he was like,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh yeah, I'm just back in my own car doing my thing. And I
Yeah.
actually had some wicked runs in my own car. Like I had some podiums, and honestly, that's what probably helped me win the championship. I was just out of the spotlight, and I was sort of just, enjoying it again in my own car. Yeah.
Yeah. And
So
so that
then
means you. Oh, sorry. Yeah, go.
yeah, I think getting back to your question, I think Dave Priolo was sort of running with him as well, and just getting real unlucky. Like no fault of his own. Like he would be leading a race, and someone would spin out, a lap car would spin out in front of him, and he'd tear the front end off, and
Yeah.
he was just having some bad luck. And I think they just, I don't know, parted ways as well. And that's when I got the opportunity. I got the call up, said, you want to have no commitment, nothing, just have a few meetings in it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then so that year you go on it. So what year did you win the championship? Was it the first year with them?
So I think I did the back end of the season with them. So I sort of come in towards the back end of the season. And
What year was that? Just for time frame.
what year did I win the series?
You post
21, 22 was the one I won the series.
Yeah, post COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think COVID helped us a little bit too, to be honest. Like Eliason was pretty sort of hard to get over around those times. I think that's when like myself and Dane Kingshot we got the opportunity around the same time to drive for these teams. Was probably because of COVID helped us. Yeah,
That's
100%.
exactly what I was about to say. Like it sounds like a very similar story. And well, no one else can come in. These two WA guys seem pretty good. Let's give them a crack. And boom.
Yeah.
So, and it's even better for the race fans. Like you're supporting Western Australian drivers in these big cars. Like I thought that was really cool. It's like Diamond Bay. It's a Western Australian driver, not an American or someone. Then it's Cricky Motorsports. It's Western Australian born, or not born maybe, but driver from Perth. So that's what's really cool. And like we're always going to remember that period of I feel like COVID, like Perth, and some local drivers getting cracks everywhere though around Australia because you couldn't travel. So I was like, I guess we'll give this guy a go. He's here. He's ready.
Yeah.
He's probably double vaxxed and doesn't go anywhere or something like that. So you say we've already talked about the pressures on the Diamond Bay and the whatever, but okay, we got obviously Australian title night prelim, biggest win, but was there a night where literally everything went perfect and you really was like, yeah, I can do this, man?
I reckon it would have to be the King of Wings, where you would everything just went perfect. Like was probably one of my biggest supporters from the early days would have been Frank Scarterfield. Actually, he was pretty cool. Like we didn't know him at all, and he'd just come into our trailer and go, hey, I want you to come and talk to Luke Dillon or another driver and try, because I was young back then, just getting into it. So he would just be like, start getting me to talk to different drivers. And it was, so it was obviously a Scarterfield's race, King of Wings. And I was in the Diamond Bay car, and everything just from time trials, I think 1 or 2 heats and maybe a dash. And then there was a 40-lap feature with a pit stop. And I led from Frank decided during the week leading up to it. I think I caught up with him during the week. He goes, "Oh, I might just put a bonus $5,000 on if the person leads the whole race and then wins it." And I'm like, "Oh yeah," thought nothing of it. Like,
on you, Frank.
That's
awesome.
Yeah, good on you, mate. That's it, going from $5,000 to $10,000, I think. Like, so yeah, it was a $5,000 to win, then another $5,000 bonus. And then we were on the pole for the feature, and still thought like nothing of the extra money or anything. I'm just like, we got 40 laps to get through here. Like, 40 laps with a pit stop, like anything can happen. And I just remember the car was so good that night. Like it was slick, up on the fence. And the car was I just sat there. The car just did its thing. And we just led the whole 40 laps, come in halfway. And that's when it started to get like I think the commentator and that was like, oh, if he wins from now on, he'll get the extra $5,000. So then it started like in the pit stop, started getting told to you, and you're like, oh, don't do that to me. Like, just want to win this race. So then we end up blitzing it. Like we end up creaming the whole feature, winning the 40 laps, taking the extra $5,000, which Frank thought he'd never have to fork out. And
yeah.
It was so funny. He come and gave us the cash personally, and he's like, "Oh, just so glad that you got it." And yeah, he was wicked. Like nothing. That's when I was like far out. Like this. That's when I was probably on the top of my game. Confidence was up. I was like, yeah, this is cool. Like winning races is something else.
Yeah, man. And let's just touch on Frank, eh? Like, he does a lot for the scene there. Like, he is the biggest fan, and he's just always for it. You know, he's been on so many race cars, sponsored events. Like, he doesn't have to. You know what I mean? But, like, he gives a lot back to the sport. And Frank Scatterfield Smash Repairs, you know, it's always around everywhere. And there's a... You know, I don't even like, you know, saying Frank's business because, yeah, he gives so much to the sport in Western Australia, and I don't see him slowing down anytime soon. So the big race he puts on, and I think he still does his race, doesn't it? The King of Wings, is that what you still call it? Yeah, every year. It's like your second, is that your second race of the year after Powerpalooza or something?
Yeah, I reckon it is. Yeah, second or third. Yeah, it would be. But it's like one of the biggest, the crowd loves it. Like, Frank's unreal, mate. Like, you go to his sons sort of run the business now, and you go there and they must get sick of just people just rocking up with sprint car panels, because every time you go there is tanks and panels, and he just does so much for the sport. Like, and that's why you see his sticker, I think, on so many cars.
So many cars, man. Yeah.
Yeah, so
I actually met him at the Australian title on that what do you do? Like that auction they do or whatever? What's that called? Whatever, Calcutta or whatever. And I was just there in the bar, and he introduced himself to me, and I was like, "You're Frank," and he's like, "Yeah, great to meet you." Blah blah. And he's just a awesome guy. So I can't wait to catch up with him again in Perth. He was awesome.
Yeah, he's unreal, mate. He just even gives like cars. If he's got cars laying around, he'll give them to people that flying in, and he's just one of those blokes that the sport really needs.
Yeah, for sure. And there's a lot around, and you know, the more the better. And I hope, you know, there's going to be more like that. You know, it's one of those things where, you know, we can get lucky and someone can be so grateful, but then there's no one. Everyone just relies on the one person to be that, you know. So he does a lot for the sport, and yeah, it's a big scene in Perth, and it's where you got to be right now, and it's booming over those times, man. You know it. So, all right, let's get into this season. All right, we touched on the 5. All right, now what's your plans this year, man? What are we doing with the 5? And why teal? Can I ask? Where did that come from? I like it. I dig it. Why the teal? What made you go that colour? I like it. I'm not saying it's bad. I dig it.
It's a bit controversial, actually.
What?
Because few people in our team like it. A few want a darker blue, and then
I'm getting it up now just so I can look at it again. Oh,
I
if it's blue, it's not teal. Yeah. I think it's sick, man.
It reminds me of watching the F1 the other week, like Mercedes, have sort of got that.
Yeah. Okay.
It looks I hopefully it looks as good on the track as it does in the setup now, but yeah,
I think it will. And what do you a white chassis? You've always been a white chassis guy. Like the colours and that affect you when you're in the car. I don't know, sometimes, especially racing at the Plex, is it nicer having a white car versus a dark car? I don't know. I've like I said, never raced one. That's what I mean. Do colours really do much for your vision in your car?
I don't think so. Some people reckon it does, but I don't notice it. Like Diamond Bay had a black car, and
Yep.
my cars have always been white, to be honest. So I don't know. People say that the white car seems to stand out in the track a bit more. So I've sort of thought, well, I'll just keep the white, but the black cars look really cool too. So I don't know, like. My favorite color is blue, so if anything's blue, like I don't really care.
Yeah, no, honestly. And the number 5, is it, like a bit of branding? I do feel that the single numbers are great to brand. Like, is that what you're sort of going for? Like, just to keep it simple, slapping 5s on hats and shirts, like, is this what you're trying to dive into? Like the 5, you want to be that, number 5, everyone ran around
Yeah,
the type deal?
I hope it takes off because I've never had my own merchandise, like pretty much with the number 80.
Yep.
I don't know why, I've just never really had the opportunity. I shouldn't say the opportunity, but I've just never gone down that path. And
Yeah.
we're already, we're going to get shirts and hats and jumpers, and we're already going down the crazy path of merch this year. So hopefully we can, we got some number 5 stickers just made up, and I've been slapping them on all the boys' cars at work just to stir them up. And I don't know. I just feel there's something. Hopefully, something feels a bit different about this one, and we can we can get a bit of a brand and a bit of merch out there. And I know we're not going to go close to competing with Callum because he's gone and bought a merch trailer and everything now. But it'd just be cool to see your name and your own brand out there. Like I know it was wicked that Diamond Bay went and did some merch and shirts for the first time, and you walk around the pits, you're like, oh, yeah, like you see your name cruising around. But I think it'll hit different being my own car and my own number and just your own brand. So hopefully it takes off a bit.
Nah, mate, I think it's a pretty cool car, and I think it will. Like you just said, you've never bought a James Inglis car shirt before. You've got a big following in Perth, mate, and I really think, this rebranding is great. And are you looking for a top wing sponsor still, or have you got that sorted? Like, what are we doing there?
Yeah, it's still
open for listen.
Yeah. I've done my wife's done an awesome proposal up, and hopefully get that out, and hopefully get some sponsors on board, and just enjoy it again. Like that's my main goal, mate, is just to just go to the racetrack, and it is what it is at the end of the day. I think my mindset's a lot better, hopefully, and hopefully we can just have fun again and enjoy it.
That's it. And also, mate, like, have you ever thought about, like, if you don't get a main partnership for the top wing, maybe opening it for nights? Channel 7?
100%.
Like, say, hey, man, like, do you want it for tonight? Small fee, Channel 7, go for it. Like, it's not a bad marketing option, too, for yourself. You never know what can happen.
Yeah, 100%. Like, if we don't really... Yeah, and I've never really, haven't gone to any sponsors and said, hey, this spot costs this much. Like I've always just been open. Like,
what do you want? What are we working with here? Yep.
I think that's how you got to roll with it. Like, you've just got to work with your sponsors and not just be so rigid on, like, oh, that's going to cost you this much sort of thing. So I'll just see what happens, mate. Like it's honestly, still a fairly blank canvas. So, we'll see what happens.
Nah, mate, it looks ripper, and even with it a bit blank at the moment, I think people are going to really enjoy it, and I reckon you might get someone to jump at that big old white spot there. I think slap her on there. If not, you might get running around the plex. And what's that? It's a Code Man sticker, just slapped in the middle of it. Oh, what happened there? It wasn't me. So plans this year. What are you doing the series, or are you just going to pick and choose what you want? And is East still on the cards?
Yeah, like I love going east, mate. Like it's I think we'll try and I think the series, speaking to Gavin, that they've tried to make it a little bit more doable as well, which is cool. Like so they're sort of not putting as many meetings so we can go east and do that like January period. So that's cool that they want to do that as well. They're not just holding us ransom to just race at the Motorplex. They're like trying to work it. They know that teams do want to travel and do race different tracks, and I love racing the smaller tracks. I think that's where my go-karting skills sort of come out a bit. So I love going to the Gambia, and yeah, I want to go back to the Classic this year and do, Tolma's unreal, as you know, and do like Gambia's going to put on a wicked Aussie title. So I want to try and do that stint for sure. I always wanted to get to Toowoomba as well. Like I've never been there, and that joint looks wicked. So see what happens, mate.
Do you think now, like they announced all that, lots more racing in January in the east? Is that something where like you're looking at doing like that big of a stint now? Or are you still gonna just aim for the Classic as the first meet?
Yeah, I think it all depends on what if we chase the series, like do the series over here, like it sort of. If you do the series, it is a cool series that the Maddington Toyota's got, and if you sort of you want to support that as well, but so it pretty much only opens up that January period, I guess, to do to go over east. But at the same time, like I've got a business
of course,
so it's sort of it all works in like go do January over east, and then and then bring it back home. So if I didn't have the business, mate, I reckon I'd travel everywhere. But
I feel you. I get you on that. No, mate, look, it's been a ripper chat, mate, and I wish you all the best year. Can't wait to catch up with you. I'm looking to be at the Perth opening weekend, so hopefully we have a sponsor by then, or you might be sticker slapped with rubber down in the code, man. I might just pack a big enough one. Just about. Oh, what's this? It's come from. I'll even make it blue for you. How's that sound?
Yeah, I'll send you the color code, mate, and we'll put it on.
There you go. Sounds good to me. Now, yeah, mate. Anyone you'd like to thank, like anywhere, your whole career, the tough period you've been through, and even just now.
Yeah, there's so many people, mate. It's crazy. If I start thinking one, I'll miss one. So obviously, family's probably the ultimate people that I need to thank. My wife's been my biggest support through the ups and downs, and obviously mum and dad, and they've always been there, and they always will be there. So those guys, Bo, who's sort of come on board, and he works in the business now, but so the race car stuff's still sort of out of hours a bit, but he's sort of brought our team to the next level, and just I can already feel that coming into this season. Like we're already more prepared and everything. So hopefully, mate, can't thank all them guys enough, and people like Gavin. Honestly, when I was in the dumps, he reached out, Gavin Migro, and said, let's go for a coffee, and we went and had a good chat, and just people like Frank did the same. Frank Scarterfield did the exact same. So like I say, I'll miss someone, but there's so many people when you are going through some battles, like they're definitely there to pick you up for sure.
Yeah, for sure, mate. Well, thank you so much, and good luck for the rest of the year. I can't wait to see the 5. And if you're listening, get to the Plex and buy a 5 shirt, hat, or whatever, because I'm going to grab one, because I needed my first James Inglis shirt. Never had one. There you go. So it'll be with number 5.
Nah, awesome, mate. Thanks for having us, eh?
No worries, mate. It's been a pleasure. Awesome chat.